Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Boardman again, and welcome back to my channel for another festive themed content. So, I hope you're all excited for Christmas, as we bring the holiday tradition. It's a special gift for our friends and family from all over the world. So, I have a special gift for you. I'll be doing another read aloud for you guys in the Christmas spirit. So, I show a brand new book I've got, something you're quite familiar with already in my previous videos. So, I have got Paddington and the Christmas Surprise, written by Michael Bond and illustrated by R.W Alley. This is a really interesting book. This is perfect for the bedtime stories during Christmas season. Well, are you ready, boys and girls, for the story time? Excellent. You came to the right place. So, gather round, everybody, and grab yourself a hot chocolate if you're welcome when you listen to a story, if you like. Excellent. So, let's begin. One Christmas, Paddington announced he was taking the Brown family to Buckridge's store to see Santa Claus. It's very good value, he explained. Apart from meeting Mr. Claus, there's a sleigh ride through Winter Wonderland, and you get to visit his workshop at the North Pole. We might even see where he makes his marmalade. I doubt it. Santa makes his own marmalade, said Mrs. Brum nervously, as Paddington led the way on to the escalator. It would make all of the presents sticky, agreed Jonathan. Not to mention his beard, added Jody. Besides, he's much too busy. That's more than you can say for Buckridge's, remarked Mr. Brown gloomily, as he brought up the rear. There's hardly anyone here. There were two signs at the top of the escalator, one pointing to Santa Claus and one pointing to Winter Wonderland. I think I may visit Santa Claus first, announced Paddington, in case the sleigh gets stuck in the snow. He got down on his paws and knees in order to get a better look and make sure it wasn't too deep. Just then, he looked up and saw a man staring down at him. Are you a boy or a girl? Asked the store manager. I'm neither, said Paddington. I'm a bear. You look more like a large, creepy crowley to me, said the man distastefully. Perhaps you had better come back next year when you have made up your mind. Come back next year? Repeated Paddington hotly. But I've bought my present Christmas list. I thought we would save the postage. The Browns were too far away to hear what it was being said, but from the look on Paddington's face, they guessed something must be wrong. Hurry up, called Mrs. Bird. We all ready to go. Oh, dear Henry, said Mrs. Brown. I do hope the sleigh ride is a success. Paddington's been saving his money for ages, and he'll be most upset if he doesn't live up to his expectations. As Paddington clambered aboard and they set off, Mr. Brown held up the leaflet. Listen, everybody, he called. First of all, we go past Santa's winter garden. I think I prefer Mrs. Bird's window box, said Paddington. The Browns exchanged anxious glances. It didn't seem a very good start to our outing. How about this one, then? Continued Mr. Brown, as they turned a corner It's a stable where Santa Claus keeps his reindeer. Paddington didn't say anything. From where he was sitting, it looked more like a dog kennel, and the only reindeer he could see it was a plastic one that had fallen over in the snow. Next, Mr. Brown pointed to the very tall tower with a flashing light at the top. That's a lighthouse at the North Pole, he said. It's there to make sure Santa arrives back home safe and sound. After he's delivered all his presents, Paddington gave it a hard stare. I think there must be a wire loose, Mr. Brown, as he exclaimed. The light keeps going on and off. The lighthouse are supposed to flash. Breaking in, Jonathan. They all send out the different signals so that people know exactly where they are. But Paddington wasn't listening. I was counting the numbers Burns he had taken to pay for the outing. Now, this might be more interesting. Mr. Brown tried to strike the cheerful note as they drew nearer to the big house, with mechanical figures moving behind very window. We're about to enter Santa's workshop. Look at the elves, called Judy. She turned around in order to explain elves to Paddington, but as she did so she gave a cry of alarm, for he was nowhere to be seen. Do something, Henry, cried Mrs. Brown, when she saw what had happened. Do something, repeated Mr. Brown. What can I do from the inside the middle of a workshop? We haven't reached the end of the tour, warned Mrs. Bird. Paddington will be most upset if he misses any of it. Mr. Brown tried to put a brave face on things, but when they reached the end of the ride, and there was still no sign of Paddington, he looked as worried as any of them. He called to one of Santa's helpers. There's the bear falling into our works, repeated the man. I'll send for the manager at once. Bear, exclaimed the manager. Did I hear someone say bear? If it's the one I met earlier, I'm not surprised he's missing. A troublemaker if they ever saw one. Blue duffel, coat, old hat. I'd recognise him anywhere. Leave it to me, I'll find him. We're certainly not going until we have, warned Mrs. Bird. And what's not more, if I know that bear, he'll be wanting his money back. No one has ever asked for my money back before. Wild the manager. There's the first time for everything, said Mrs. Bird grimly. As the manager disappeared through one door, Paddington came through another. I think I found a fault in the lighthouse, Mr. Brown, he called. Bears are good at mending things, and before he had a chance to finish, there was a loud bang from somewhere inside Santa's workshop, and all the lights went off. Out. Where is he? Shouted the manager. Where is he? I'll give him a present he won't forget in a hurry. Mrs. Bird took the firm grip of her umbrella. Come along, everyone, she called. I think we had enough wonders for one day. Paddington suddenly hit the headlines, said Mr. Brown. At breakfast the next morning, listen to this. Strange goings on in London store. One thing's certain, said Mrs. Brown. We shan't be allowed into banquets again in a hurry? I don't know. Broke in Jonathan. Listen to this one. Crowds flock to Santa's workshop. Search for mystery bear goes on. Everyone was so busy reading the newspapers that didn't notice. Mrs. Bird leave the room. She had an important telephone call to make. Buckridge, said the manager, several days later, wishes all you a very Merry Christmas. Ever since this young bear was honoured us with a visit, we have had queues outside the stall. It's quite like old times. He turned to Mrs. Bird. And thank you, dear lady, for telephoning us when you did. Perhaps I could do some more repairs for you, said Paddington hopefully. I didn't think that would be necessary, said a manager hastily. Besides, Santa is waiting to see you. After you had all had a free sleigh ride. It was a merry party of Browns who set off on their journey through the winter wonderland. This time, everything worked perfectly, and when they came to the end of the ride, Santa Claus was waiting to greet them. Ho, 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 he boomed. And who have we here? I'm the bear, Mr. Claus, said Paddington, and I come from Darkest Peru. Well, said Santa, reaching behind his chair. In that case, I think I know just what you would like. Paddington nearly fell over backwards with surprise as Santa Claus held up an enormous jar. There was a label on the side that said homemade, and it was tied at the top with a big red bow. It's my favourite, Mr. Claus, he cried. How did you guess? Mrs. Bird's face went pink as Santa gave her a knowing smile. One of the nicest things about Santa Claus, she said hastily, it's that he knows exactly what everyone wants for Christmas. That's what makes him so special. And he makes his own marmalade, said Paddington happily. I knew he would. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story of Paddington and the Brown family. He went to Buckridge store to visit Santa Claus and Winter Wonderland. That's what Paddington, who would love to have a marmalade for Christmas. So, I think Paddington's story, it seems very charming and most delightful children's storybook. It brings a lot of generations to come. It's this perfect gift for the Paddington fans who love that story so far in a Christmas themed this year. So it's also been honoured to a third film, Paddington and Peru, was released last month. This is a really good film. I guess we enjoyed last month. Okay guys, so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you on the next video, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'll see you on the next video.